How's it going, guys? It's Ejector Air Coasters, and in today's video, we have our second coaster war. Since most of you know from my vlog that I've grown a lot on Twisted Colossus, I think it would be interesting to put it up against the almighty El Toro. For those of you who hadn't seen my other coaster war video, I go over 10 categories and rate each coaster from 1 to 10 on them. At the end, we add up the final score and determine the winner. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So for the first category, we have height. Now, this is comparing stuff to like the tallest in the world and the fastest in the world, stuff like that. For the stats categories, it is comparing it to that. That's why they're getting pretty low scores. So, Twisted Colossus has a height of 121 feet, so not too tall. So, I'm going to give it a 3 out of 10, again, comparing it to King Ka. And as of El Toro, it's 181 feet, which is absolutely massive for a wooden coaster. Although it is only getting a 6 out of 10 because of the way this category works, that is still like freaking huge. So now we have speed. Twisted Colossus goes 57 miles an hour, so that's a okay speed, but again, comparing it to like Formula Rossa, so like not going to be a very great score. So I'm giving Twisted Colossus a 4 out of 10 for speed. Now for El Toro, it goes 70 miles an hour, which is pretty dang fast, especially for a wooden coaster. As of like comparing it to the other coasters, it's not that good, but like that is very fast for a wooden coaster, so I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. It is less than half of as fast as Formula Rossa, which goes 149 miles an hour, but I feel like I should give it an extra point because that's pretty fast for a wooden coaster. Next up, we have the drop. This is not how tall the drop is. This is simply based on how much I like it. And guys, in my last video, I don't know what the heck I was thinking. I gave Twisted Colossus like a 6 or something for the drop. What on earth was I thinking? This thing absolutely yoinks you. Okay, that sounded weird, but I don't care. In the back row, you get whipped. And I mean like, holy crap ejector. Like, absolutely amazing. Twisted Colossus has an amazing drop. And in the front rows, you really hang over the edge of the drop, and that's pretty awesome too. The only reason I'm not giving it a perfect 10 is because it's pretty quick. It's a pretty quick short drop. So I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. Great score. So for El Toro, oh boy, where to even start? You all know I'm going to give it a 10. El Toro's drop is just, oh god. Same kind of idea. It hits it with some speed though, so after the cable lift, which already takes you up pretty fast, you're coming around the turnaround with some speed. And look at this train. That thing is long, so if you're sitting anywhere near the back or like even in the middle, you are getting some of the strongest ejector known to mankind. I don't really care that I said that. It's true. I don't care if I haven't ridden Skyrush. It's true, okay? Anyway, in the back row. Oh my gosh, you just get absolutely whipped. You're coming around the corner and you see the front of the train start to disappear and you know the inevitable. You just get absolutely yonked with a big punch of ejector that very sustained, one of the strongest moments on the ride. And that's saying something, especially for El Toro. So this absolutely deserves a 10 out of 10. Now for the airtime. Whoa, now this is the strong suit for both of these coasters. Twisted Colossus, it's an RMC, especially like a very airtime packed one, of course. So of course I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. Bunch of really great little pops of ejector, a few really good sustained ones, like the one under the Top Gun stall and the one before the high five element. Those are very underrated. And of course the drop. So yeah, Twisted Colossus gets a 10 out of 10. And El Toro, I mean, you don't even say anything. Of course it's gonna get a 10. The drop, we already covered that. And those first two camelbacks are the most insane things of all time. Those are probably my two favorite elements on a coaster ever. Those are absolutely amazing. Super strong, super sustained. It's absolutely incredible. And of course, after that, you have a few good floater moments. And then, of course, like the Rolling Thunder Hill. I mean, how can you go wrong with that? People say it's overrated, but oh my gosh, this thing is just ridiculous. It's probably the most intense part of the ride if you're in the back. So as you can tell, El Toro is a backseat ride. Because you see the front of the train disappear and you seem to lose all speed. And then all of a sudden, you're just absolutely whipped over the back. I know that's a word I'm saying a lot. Whipped, yoinked, yoinked. Sounds weird. I don't care. That's what it is. And then you get pushed back into your seat with positives. El Toro absolutely deserves a 10 for airtime. Next up, we have ride intensity. And this is where Twisted Colossus is like a little lacking. Twisted Colossus, it has a lot of airtime. It's really good. It's a great coaster. But it doesn't have that good positives. It doesn't have that great laterals. It's just not a super intense ride. Airtime is Twisted Colossus' strong suit. And I get that. And if that's a ride that's focused on airtime, that's awesome. I love airtime. But it's just not super intense. So I'm giving it a 6 out of 10. As of El Toro, airtime is its focus, but my gosh, this thing is intense. This is probably like a top 3 most intense coaster I've ever ridden. That's including X2 and King Ka, which are probably 1 and 2. And anyway, dude, this thing is ridiculous. I mean, on the valleys, it has super tight valleys for the airtime hills. Those pull 4 plus G's consistently every time. And then the turnaround, the quote unquote rough, which it isn't, it's pretty buttery. The turnaround, that thing is super forceful. I gray out almost every time I rode this, and I marathon this thing. So yeah, El Toro is super intense. We already mentioned the Rolling Thunder Hill part, and then after that with the all the little whippy switchbacks, El Toro, yeah, El Toro absolutely deserves a 10 rating for intensity. Next up, we have ride smoothness. So Twisted Colossus, I mean, you can't get much smoother than this. It's a buttery RMC. Perfect. Not much else to say. 10 out of 10 smoothness. Now, El Toro, everyone was saying it is the smoothest ride ever. Everyone's just like, oh my gosh, it's so smooth. And yes, El Toro is very, very smooth, but it's definitely not perfect. Now the turnaround, I didn't find that to be a problem. The first half of the ride is pretty buttery, but once you hit the turn before the rolling thunder hill rattles you around a lot. Not like wood coaster rattle, but like arrow rattle. It's kind of weird, but it's not painful or anything. And then after the rolling thunder hill, those switchbacks rattle you around a lot. But it's really not painful. It doesn't take away from the experience at all, in my opinion. So I'm going to give El Toro an 8 out of 10 for smoothness, which I think it deserves. The smoothness is a little bit overrated on El Toro. Now for the length. Okay, I don't really know what the heck I was thinking last time when I said when I said Twisted Colossus had like a 5 or 6 for length. What the heck? This thing's long. I don't know what is wrong with old me. I don't know. El, I keep saying El Toro. Twisted Colossus is a very long ride. After like I know it stops halfway through and it's only like 1 lap around and then it goes up the second chain lift and it's another single lap around. But dude, after that first lap, I got a ton of rides on it since that last video. And you're just like, whoa, that was amazing. And then you go up again, and then you're done again. You're like, and then you go around another amazing experience, and then you feel, wow, that was amazing again. Really takes your breath away. Super long ride. Definitely deserves a 9 out of 10 rating. The only reason I'm taking a point off is because a lot of that time is spent on the chain lift. Now, El Toro, it's not a super long ride, but the length is definitely not a problem. It has like really good, powerful elements that make up for the length because I personally prefer quality over quantity. Sorry. So that's why I'm not so optimistic about a ride like Steel Vengeance. Like, it's long and it has a lot of stuff in it. It has a lot of little pops. But El Toro has like it's not super long, but it has like those 4 massive ejector moments that just really are super powerful. And of course, it's super intense. Okay, I'm getting a little off track here. I'm just raving about El Toro now. But El Toro is not super long, but I don't really care because it has great elements packed in that short amount of time. But it isn't short either, so it deserves a 7 out of 10 rating. It's like a pretty average length ride. So next up we have the restraints. Twisted Colossus, I really love these RMC restraints. I haven't ridden any of the new RMC restraints like Twisted Tempers, Twisted Cyclone, Steel Vengeance, Hakuge, and so on. I haven't ridden any of those trains, but this Twisted Colossus, these old trains were pretty good. I really like them. I like the hydraulic. I personally prefer hydraulic restraints because find them they stay up easier for some reason. I'm not sure why. I think they stay up during the ride easier. And these are really freaking easy to get room with. Okay, so here's what you do. You scoot up a tiny bit, but that's not even the thing. Puff out like whatever shirt you're wearing. And then the shin guards. I know people hate them, but they make it so easy to get room. Even if they tell you to scoot back, you still can put your shins on and then just get a ton of room. It's so easy to get room with. I really like these restraints. The only reason they're not getting a perfect score is because they're a bit bulky. But besides that, perfect restraints. I love it. So, of course, it's a 9 out of 10. Now, for El Toro, at first when I got on these trains, I didn't really like them. They're kind of crammed and, like, not padded, so a little bit the rough patches were a little annoying. And the restraint, when it comes down, like, it's like a triangle shaped restraint. So when you pull it down, it's supposed to have the flat part go on you, but I'm pretty small, so sometimes I'd get stapled and then the triangle part would hit me and then it would be kind of painful. But usually I was able to get room and that wouldn't be a problem. Eventually I got used to like the plastic stuff and it not being padded. So El Toro's restraints are pretty comfy in my opinion. They're not perfect, but they're definitely not like terrible. So El Toro gets an 8 out of 10 for restraints. And now for the layout. So I'm using the same photos, but I don't really have any more that belong to me. So the layout for Twisted Colossus. It's a great layout. I really like the blue side layout because it just flows so well and it's like really awesome. Great airtime moments. Really good interaction with the other train, of course. That is if you're dueling. But anyway, that's besides the point. I really like the layout for Twisted Colossus. Now, but once you switch to the green side, it's still a good layout, but it feels kind of forced. Like the high five, that does not flow. That just feels forced. The double down, that just feels weird. The Top Gun stall, I mean, that flows pretty well. But like the double up, and just some of the elements just flow kind of weirdly and feel kind of awkwardly forced. That's why it's not getting a perfect rating, but it is a very creative, cool, interactive layout, and I love that about this ride. So I'm giving it the 8 out of 10, taking off 2 points because it's a little awkward. Now, El Toro's layout, it's a basic out and back layout, but the only difference is it has that twister section at the end. So I would give it like a 5 because it's an out and back layout, and those are pretty average. But that twister section is pretty kick butt, so I had got to give it a 3 extra points. So it's definitely not a perfect layout, but man, I really love El Toro's layout. I don't find it to be a problem at all. It's definitely one of its strong suits, in my opinion. So I'm giving it the 8 out of 10. Only taking off 2 points for, like, just because it's an out and back. It's not going to get a perfect score. Last category is pacing. Twisted Colossus, it's an RMC, so it hauls. I'm just going to say that. Twisted Colossus absolutely hauls, especially when you get night rides. So Twisted Colossus gets a 9 out of 10 for pacing. The only reason I'm taking off a point is because like you spend a lot of time on the chain lift, but usually people give it a lot of credit. I mean, people give it a lot of hate for not dueling, but honestly, Twisted Colossus duels a lot of the time when I ride it. I don't really see a problem with that. So when you are on the chain lift, you get all hyped up. You see the other train, you start clapping and cheering, and then eventually you race most of the time. So that's the only reason I'm taking off a point because the chain lift is like really long and slow. But besides that, this ride absolutely hauls while it is going. El Toro, I'm giving it a 9.5 for pacing. I was tempted to give it a 10, but that would just seem like I'm fanboying over it. And I definitely am an El Toro fanboy, I'll admit that. But I want this to be as much of a unbiased battle as possible. So, the only reason, like, the first half, just absolutely ridiculous. And then the end is absolutely ridiculous, too. Just that middle section after the turnaround with that little floater airtime hill before the crazy ejector filled rolling thunder hill. That's the only part that's a little slow. I mean, comparing it to other rides like GCI's, Apocalypse, those kind of rides, that's like the same pace as Apocalypse keeps up the entire ride. But just comparing it to the first two massive ejector hills and the crazy turnaround and the crazy drop that you just experienced, Yeah, it does feel kind of slow. So I think I just take off half a point because after that it just picks up the speed again and just goes insane with the rolling thunder hill and all the switchbacks and stuff like that. So I'm just taking off half a point. 9.5 for pacing for El Toro. Okay, so we have come to the end of our battle. All the scores have been settled and calculated. These coasters are both absolutely amazing. They're my number one and two coasters. Sorry for that spoiler. So these are both absolutely amazing rides, and I love them both. But one was superior in this system. Scores of 77 to 82.5. The winner is El Toro. Congratulations, you've won. You're officially my number one. You're amazing. I'm fanboying now. Anyway, I'm sure you all expected this, but I thought it would be cool to just compare my number one and two. So thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Okay, and now I'm sounding like Taylor. Sorry, outros are hard. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.